Hi everybody, time for a quick look inside Vancouver Public Schools. I'm Nick Vole. Remote learning is the norm now. It has been for a few weeks. It looks like it will be moving forward. So students and teachers are settling into this new way of doing things, and we wanted to check in with elementary school teachers to see what it's like for them. And joining me now are three elementary school teachers. We've got Kristen Mann, Randy Decker, and Jen Williams. Guys, thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Pleasure.
So my first question, I guess, is how difficult is it to conduct class remotely as you've been doing now for the past few weeks?
Well, there's definitely a big learning curve for us as teachers who are used to being able to control environments and modify environments that suits our kids' needs. We are now teaching to children who might be brushing their teeth or having a bowl of cereal, and we have to learn how to handle those variations and still hope that the learning can occur.
I also, a challenge that I have faced just as a teacher in my, thinking about my teaching practice is how do I make sure that what the students are engaged with is meaningful to them, and it's not just kind of just clicking through something, and sometimes that's okay, but making sure that just because we're online and we're digital doesn't mean that they don't deserve really intentional, meaningful lessons. And so how do I kind of change that? It's very natural for me to do that in front of the classroom when I can see their faces and responses, and I can change my lessons based on their reactions and their questions, but it's quite a bit different when we're all behind screens. And so trying to really think into the minds of the students, even more ahead of the time than I would before, to really see, okay, how can I send something out that's meaningful to all 25 of my students?
Sure.
One of my big focuses this year was creating like a really great environment for all my kids and that classroom culture. So trying to think of ways to incorporate our classroom culture digitally has been really challenging, and trying to figure out like how to maintain like relationships, especially like in first grade. That's like really what they are learning, is like that social connection and like how to do.
So Randy, then what are some strategies that you've undertaken to make that happen?
Every morning I send out a morning message to all my students. It's either like a picture of me or a video, or like a picture with like voice over it, like my voice over it, to try to like show them that I still care.
Hi class, good morning from Mrs. Decker and my dog Charlie. We just wanted to wish you a great first day of remote learning.
And then we started doing Seesaw, which has been really helpful for my students because all the posts are accessible to all my kids unless I put it in a private folder. So they're actually commenting on each other's and being like, oh, I love how you did this. It's like really heartwarming because they're like wanting to like maintain that relationship with each other.
Sure. And that sort of leads me into a question for all of you guys. What does your average day look like? Obviously, it's much different than before. And if you have children, that's a whole other thing to manage yourself. So what is your average day like?
Well, for my class, we start every morning with a Zoom. So we have about 45 minutes together, and in that time we do some just bonding, and then we have a math lesson. We have a student who gets to share about themselves, and then we end with a read aloud. But after that, then the kids are like sent off with their lesson plan template that they've received from us. And so I spend a lot of my day responding to, both by voice and with sort of right on the screen tools, the lessons that they're sending me back. So when they send me back a math lesson, I can respond to it. I see one that was done incorrectly, I kind of show them. So it's a lot of individual attention, but remotely. I think the best part about that, though, is that we still have the voice connection. I feel like that has just enhanced this experience so much. So when I can talk about their work with them on the voice, I get little responses back. Thank you, Mrs. Williams. And
I'm going to talk about problem 4 and how I solved the problem. 32 plus 7 equals 39, because if you break the 32 into 30 and 2 and put the 2 with the 7, it equals 9. And then I put the 9 with the 30, so I knew it made 39.
It makes me feel like we're still connecting and we're still learning together instead of me on my own and them on their own. So
Yeah, it seems like it's hard to overestimate the human connection, how important that is.
Huge. Yeah.
Kristen, how about you? What is your day like?
Well, I upload, we use Google Classroom as kind of our main hub for accessing all assignments. Now from there, they go out to many different places in the world of the internet. But so often when I get up first thing, we don't have a everyday classroom meeting. It just wasn't feasible for us at this time. I'm hoping to be able to move into that. But I'm checking to make sure everybody was able to get on there. I send a little message on Seesaw, and then from there, my kids are they feel very comfortable writing me messages, and I'm writing back emails, really kind of trying to troubleshoot not only assignments, but hey, I can't access this. How do I get onto this? And then I can connect students together who are struggling with similar things to kind of maintain those connections. And then every day I have office hours from 2 to 3, and I get lots of kids that come in there. So it's no matter what, every day 2 to 3. So they come in and they're like, I didn't get this math, so I'll reteach a math lesson, and or sometimes I'll send something out and say, hey, today we're gonna go over these 2 skills. And so I have a bunch of kids that come on and kind of just listen and talk it through. We do have a whole class meeting once a week right now, and almost all of my students are accessing that. And so we're finishing up. That's really more of our kind of community, our classroom community, keeping that up. We're doing our March Madness book tournament and really just trying to add elements of just laughter and fun and connection with that. So I also work with my 4th grade team a lot about being really trying to really, what do we want these kids to know, and how do we want them to learn it in a meaningful way. So I'm constantly having Zoom meetings with them as well, which is really great.
I spoke with a school psychologist a couple weeks ago about the importance of structure in a child's day, and it seems like you guys are really focusing on that. Randy, how is your day going so far, or how are your days going?
Yeah, they kind of vary depending on the day. So like Kristen, I don't have a morning meeting every morning, but I have one 3 days a week at different times because my kiddos can't all make it. And they rely a lot on their parents. So I do a meeting depending on if I can. And then like Kristen, we collaborate a lot with my team. I'm kind of like the tech person on my team, so I'm doing a lot of troubleshooting like with my team, and then with parents and with kids. Like these first graders just now got iPads, so they're just not used to the technology, so it's a huge learning curve for parents and for kids. So I feel like a lot of my day is putting out these little fires of like, okay, like this came up, I need to put out this fire, and then this comes up. So sometimes it's like I have too many tabs open like on my computer, but in my mind. And then I convert most of our assignments that are on our like template that's accessible through the remote learning website, convert those to Seesaw activities. So the kids can just open their Seesaw app and then do the activities right there. Try to foster a little bit of independence. So yeah, it kind of depends on the day. I feel like every day there's something new and something different to figure out, like how to troubleshoot and how to problem solve.
Sure. And it's interesting. I've heard you guys talking so far, and I've heard several different technologies, Seesaw or Google Classroom or what have you, Zoom. How have you adjusted to these technologies? Like it's a lot different. And do you feel like they're doing what you need them to do?
Yeah, Nick, I'm not going to lie to you. The first couple weeks of this was a little tricky trying to figure it all out. But I've talked about this with my coworkers. Now that we're really getting the hang of it and our students are getting the hang of it, it's kind of exciting, some of the opportunities that we'll be able to take with us into, you know, future years, things that maybe we just didn't have time to sit down and really figure out, but we have, because we kind of had to. And so it's great because I've set up the Google Classroom for my students, but then, like I said, for a literacy or math, we kind of have a structure. Monday, you know, we do vocabulary, and Tuesday, and so they know what to expect, but each day they're going somewhere else and they're doing something different, or they're doing something on a Google Slides, or they're doing boom cards, or they're doing Zern, or they're doing Scholastic or Newsella. And so it's just kind of keeping it, it's still keeping it upbeat for them, keeping it kind of fun, but also it's still things that they're used to from our classroom, but they're kind of getting to do it in a new place. So from what the feedback that I've heard from my students is that they're enjoying kind of these new opportunities that they've been given for now.
How about you guys, Jen or Randy?
Well, it's been rapid fire learning on both ends for sure. We have not used the iPads with our kiddos at this school. They have not had access, even just maybe one or two in a classroom. So we didn't have opportunities to really spend learning with them how they could use that tool until they all had them, and so did we. So it's kind of been an amazing learning platform because we're all immersed in it at the time we're trying to learn it, versus sort of taking a class and trying to figure it out on your own. It's just jump in, and it's kind of been amazing. I can see the future of our teaching really embedding some of these things way sooner than I would have without this sort of needs-based overtaking. You know, it's so I'm excited about even some of the tools I've had for years. I didn't know all the things that they could do until I needed to really do them remotely. So I see some differentiation possibilities in the future that I wasn't tuned into yet in first grade. So could be awesome.
Randy, any thoughts there?
I am totally on the same page with Jen. Actually, our team's goal next year was going to be to use Seesaw in the classroom. So we're like, oh, we're getting a head start on this goal. And so, yeah, it's been crazy learning curve, but I can also see where Seesaw would be like totally awesome to use in the future.
Sure. Well, it seems like you know, you're always, as teachers, working with kids, but you're also relying on parents to help. Now it's even more so than ever. How has that relationship work with parents so far?
I can speak from my experience. It's been sort of a delicate balance between overwhelming and sort of inserting myself into their home and the juggling that they're doing with just the basic needs and stresses of life right now, and then this new need to educate at home. So trying to find what's helpful and not overwhelming has been a new kind of learning curve for me. And I think parents, you know, we're coming at it knowing that everyone's trying to do the best they can. So a lot of grace given on both ends. It just has been a good mindset for us as we've started to navigate this. I think the structures that are in place have been helpful, but for some people, it's so much. We offer so many things that they sort of just say, never mind, I'll just do whatever. So you want to just be careful that we don't put out there, 15 possibilities of your day. I think that I have had better success with parents if I am really narrowing down for them what would be bare bones. Let's try this for today. And if you want to add something, let me know. And so it's been a good journey for growing the relationships with parents too, and knowing when to just wait and offer when they need it, when they're asking for it.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree with Jennifer. It's been really really eye-opening to really see what these parents are going through, especially if they have multiple kids and they are working from home and they have all these responsibilities. It's just it's just really been important to me to try really hard to work with them and not, at them. And so, and now more than ever. And so I've tried to reach out individually to families, kind of rather than just like email blast. And that has to happen sometimes, but like Jennifer was saying, so easy to get overwhelmed right now with how much is coming at us. And I absolutely agree that narrowing down, here's what we have today. You know, we kind of started out pushing out all of our lessons for the week, and we said, nope, here's what is for today on Monday, and here's what's Tuesday, and it's okay if you do Mondays on Tuesday, and really trying to, like Jennifer said, insert ourselves in their home in a way where really we're just trying to support wherever they are, kind of meeting them where they're at, meeting their students where they're at, while challenging their kids if possible. You know, so it's a delicate balance, and but it's one that I'm really privileged to have right now. I think I'm learning a lot about really how to work best with families in this capacity.
Sure.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of you. I don't think I have anything to add. I think you hit the nail on the head on that. Yeah.
Sure. Well, then I want to close with an opportunity for you guys to kind of convey to people something they might not know about teaching remotely. It's such an unusual time we're in, and I think it's hard maybe for some people to sort of mentally wrap their brains around what it means to teach and learn at home. So is there anything that you would want our community to know about, you know, what's going on, or how I don't know, I've been amazed at how much our district employees are doing. I mean, going above and beyond. And a lot of it happens in places that aren't public because everyone's at home. So anyway, that's me. What do you guys think that the public should maybe know about what's going on right now?
Well, I'll start. I think that the public should be proud of how many opportunities we as educators are being given to educate ourselves about how to do this. Our digital learning coaches are sending us just a plethora of classes that we can take, and we are sometimes taking them, you know, even minutes before we're needing them. It's been wonderful, and I feel so grateful that I can, at this time, be at home and still be accessing all these tools that I can continue to help the children when I don't have them in my care every day. So I'm grateful, and I would want the public to know that we are being given lots of opportunities to not only work with the families and our students, but also to work on making ourselves better for teaching their kids.
Kristen?
Yeah, I would say I think I would want the public to know how, and every single teacher that I've worked with and talked to during this time, how important the education of their kids are to us even now. We're not seeing them every day, and you know, we're at home in our sweatpants and things, but their learning and what they leave this year with us is still so important, and that and how much we care and how much we want. I mean, everybody coming together to try to support these students' education, and I'm just so impressed with how involved a lot of families have been, and how hard families are coming together, and grandparents and aunts and uncles and neighbors to come together and really everyone and I'm more than ever just so thankful to be involved in this community of educators and you know, everyone that's working in the district, as well as families and neighbors, and that we're all working our hardest, and that we won't stop working our hardest, you know, until the end of the year, and then we'll do what we can for next year. So
Sure.
Yeah, I totally agree with you both. This is actually my first year teaching. So it's kind of been a whirlwind. And I feel like even more appreciative that this has happened like in my first year, because I have even more appreciation for all my teammates. I think that it's been really hard, but it also has brought like schools together, and I feel like even more connected to my team and my principal and my students, like in a weird way. I think that this has just made us even better educators, and we won't take some things for granted that maybe we would if this hadn't happened. And yeah, I would want the public to know that we're working really hard, and we want to work with you. Like, we want to work all together. And that's been the attitude that I've heard from everyone at my school and everyone in the district, is just like, okay, how can we help you and support you in the best way that we can, because everyone, just like we know all our kids are going to learn differently, parents are all going to work differently, they all need different things. And so it's just trying to figure out what everyone needs and how to accommodate all of those needs.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. We really appreciate you guys working so hard and taking the time to talk to us. So thanks.
Thanks for having us, Nick. Thanks.
And parents, remember, there are online resources if you need them to keep you and your student going. Just go to the school district's website. You can check out welearn.vansd.org. There you'll find all sorts of resources to not only keep up to date with your students' classes, but also get ahead and do extra work if you are able and willing. Again, that's welearn.vansd.org. Thanks for watching this quick look. Until next time, I'm Nick Voll.